The next ones, I won't spend too much time on. The N generally just keeps its sound. There will be a few exceptions down the road, not major ones. And we have seen it where it interacts with the B and changes it, so it can do things like that. There's not too many of them, and I'll just bring them up if we see them. But for the most part, it will just keep its same sound in the final position. Okay? Noon. Okay? Noon can mean eyes or snow. Okay? It's the same word. One of them is a little bit more drawn out. Noon versus noon. I don't know which one's which. That's an independent project for you, if you really care to find that out. I have never found much importance in it, so I've never really tried. But if you want to, go for it. And that being said, I just say them actually the same, and I've never had a problem. It's not that I use it too often, but if you're talking about snow, generally people don't think I'm talking about eyes. Contextually, you'll be fine.
Trying to imagine the situation.
Since Pete's first word off his lips last time for the word you wanted to know was harangheo, I'll give you a little bit more. What did we learn today from Pretty? Right, so here, noon is eyes, noony, E will be sort of a secondary subject marker, which we'll get into more, a little bit actually more today, later. But, if you want to say, noony yepoyo. Noony yepoyo. Follow that up with a strong sarangheo and you're cold.
Cold and sexy.
Okay. The next one as well, the Leo. Generally, it'll just keep its L sound, or as we saw, there's kind of a couple cases. It'll either flick up through and become a flick, okay, muri, as we saw, or it'll just be an L sound. Okay. There are some cases where it will change a little bit again, but for now, not important. When that comes out, I'll show you. And it works. The M, same thing. It'll keep its M sound, as we saw just here. Sometimes it can affect the B and a few things and change them. For the most part, in the final position, just keep its M sound. Okay? Are there any questions about that? Special characters down here. The first one is the H. Okay? Did we see examples last time of it interacting with the G, the D, and the B? We may not have yet, so I'll give you one example now. This is a special character because it interacts with other consonants around it and changes their sounds a little bit and affects them. You generally don't hear the H, okay, in conversation. It's either soft or it's mixing with another consonant and creating a sound there. So you generally won't hear just an H, okay? And I'll give you one example now. Has anyone ever heard the word jota? Jota. Okay? It's based on joayo. Have you heard joayo? Joayo and joayo. Joayo means good. Is it good? Do you like it? Jota is that in its base form. Okay? And if you're not familiar with it, then it doesn't really matter if you are. Great. But what we'll see here, it's written J-O-H in this one block, and then we have da, which is signifying a verb. Okay, we've seen it a couple times now. This H and this D will combine. And remember the D I said sometimes it has that middle ground. Okay. I also said when it's mixed in the middle of something, generally it's more of a soft, it's regular D. Here's a case, what the H does, and it does it with all these three that have that middle ground business, it pushes it right up to its hard edge. and it changes this to a T sound. Okay? So it changes this D to a T sound. Okay? So this will sound like Jota. Okay? You could actually write it Jota. And there's sort of, what do you call it? Like the chatting, the way they type. You know, sometimes even English will type the way it sounds if it's shorter. In Korean they'll do that too. Not necessarily for this word, they might for this word, but they have this kind of fit word. So it sounds the exact same. Like Jota. Okay? Jota. Again, this kind of thing, when we see it, okay, I'll point it out, we'll practice it, no problem. And then the last one, the Ian, okay, I think this one's pretty well covered. Silent in the beginning because we need it for our writing rule, and in the bottom it's an NG. Okay? Any questions about that? No?